Do you know how to turn trash into treasure? Stay tuned to find out. Hi, I'm Laura from the Sustainable Norcross Commission, and an easy way that we can all turn trash into treasure is by composting our food waste and our yard waste. By providing the right conditions of warmth, oxygen, and microbes, composting recycles organic waste, like fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, dead leaves, and grass clippings, into a nutrient-rich soil that's often called gardening gold. This is so much better than the alternative. In a landfill, organic waste takes a long time to decompose, and as it does slowly rot, it releases methane, a greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. There are a lot of ways to compost, so you can find a method that works for you no matter your budget or your space availability. To compost indoors or in a small space, consider worm composting. For a low-maintenance option, try a compost pile or compost hole. To cook up new compost for your garden regularly, check out 3-bin composting or a dual compost tumbler. You can use finished compost as mulch, mix it into homemade potting soil, top dress flower beds, or spread it out on your lawn. However you use it, your plants and the planet will thank you. So just pick a method and get started today.
Hi everybody, this is my vermicomposting worm composting situation. This is my greenhouse. This is where they live, and this is what they eat. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Banana peels, old apples, eggshells, strawberry tops, spinach, coffee grounds, lots of coffee grounds. We go through a lot of coffee at my house. And this is where they live. They like it dark, so they have a plastic over the top. And this is what their world is. Let me see if I can find a spoon and dig in here and see where they are right now. Well, come on out, everybody. There they are. They are all at the bottom having a big old feast. So we're gonna feed them. I have some herb clippings here, some old coffee filters. It doesn't matter. The end of lettuce, bananas, and they love it. So let me put their food in here and let them have a big old meal. Literally just dump in all of my kitchen scraps. They will eat, and before you know it, it will look like this. This is my finished worm compost. It's dry and crumbly, and it's perfect to sprinkle on top of your flower pots, in your anywhere in your planting beds. It is worm black gold. But this is what it looks like, and that's what it turns into. Hope you enjoyed my vermicomposting. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, let me show you our setup here. This is called a 3-bin system because you've guessed it. It has 3 separate areas here, 3 bins. We use pallets, but really anything can work. You can put a stack of bricks just to delineate the areas between the 3 bins. And I was very ambitious with how much we were going to compost, but I forget that the compost, as it decomposes, really reduces. So even though we use this compost every day for all of our kitchen scraps, it still reduces a lot. So you definitely don't need that big of a setup. We have it in the back of our yard just because it's not very pretty. This is very simple. It requires low maintenance, which is exactly what we need. But yes, it's not very pretty. So we tuck it in the back of the yard, and also because sometimes it does attract some bees. But I'll show you what you can do about that in a second. So we just take, every day or two, we bring our kitchen scraps right here, we put it on top of the pile, and that's kind of about it. It requires no maintenance other than that on a daily basis. It gets rain and water from the natural rainfall, and it touches the ground, which brings all the microorganisms right, and the good bacteria right from the ground. So there's really nothing that we need to do very special about it, except maybe a few times a year, between 2 to 4 times a year, we will turn and take a pile from the first bin and use a shovel to turn it into the second bin, and eventually we'll take the second bin and turn it to the third bin. So you have different bins at various stages of composting. And as you can see, this first bin has already composted underneath. It already has like a good dirt. Let me see if I can find a good worm in here. Not in this one, but it is full of really good worm. Oh, this one just fell down also. So you can see that the earth is really rich, and as you can see here too, some of our seeds that hadn't fully decomposed are now growing some squash. So we have some pumpkin or cucumber seeds or something that thrives here. But like I said, zero maintenance other than the 2 to 4 times a year where we turn the piles from one bin to the next. We do not put any dairy or meat in the compost here because it does attract wildlife, and we already have enough coyotes and deer and possums around here, so we don't need any more. But this is fine. It doesn't. We don't see anything that goes in around the yard or anything like that. So the wildlife is not touching our compost bin. It's been a couple years already. What you can do about the bees or the yellow jackets sometimes that come here is if you just take some soil and you put it on top of your fresh compost, it'll help break down these ingredients faster, and that way it won't attract the bees and the yellow jackets. But otherwise, that's it. It's very easy for us to get good compost. We use it all around the yard, and we hope this setup works for you too. Thanks for watching.
Hi, this is Amy in Lilburn, and I'm sharing what I do for composting. This bucket here is my compost bucket that I keep in the house. And it's got some dead leaves, old watermelon, banana peels, kiwi peels, that kind of stuff. And that's what I put in. We eat a whole food plant-based diet, so I don't have eggshells, but eggshells could go in there. And this is one of my keyhole gardens, and in the center is a compost pile. And so I'm gonna dump my compost into that. This is another one of my keyholes that is growing, and you can see how it's thriving due to the compost bin in the center. Here we go, into the center. All right, there's my compost bin. I also have 2 other compost areas. My other compost areas are 2 bins. I have this tumbler, and this actually has some dirt in it that's ready to be put on the garden. I need to take out the sticks, but that's pretty well composted and broken down. And the other is this bin, which I find a little scary. It's open, it's got lots of bigger branches and stuff. It's not breaking down as well. When I was little, my dad had a bin similar to this and then a pile on the ground, and often snakes were in it, so I'm kind of afraid of this one since it's so exposed. But it does need turning and a little help. This one isn't been breaking down so well. And that's what I'm doing here in Lilburn.
Hey guys, it's Laura in Lawrenceville, and this is how I compost in a small apartment. So normally I collect my compostables in this stainless steel compost bin. It is aerated on the top, which allows for better airflow, which actually helps the compost breathe and actually minimize odors. Another thing that minimizes odors is this nice charcoal filter that this particular model comes with. And it's got a plastic bucket inside that I can very easily remove and wash with soap and water once it gets dirty. Normally I'd collect in there, but for purposes of this video, I want to really show you what I'm composting today. I haven't been eating as many fruits and veggies as I should, so I don't have as much to show you, but I have got things like green onion clippings from some green onions that went bad before I got to eat them, some onion skins from some onions that I chopped up. I've got some eggshells. I have got some dirt and some cardboard egg carton cups from these little seedling experiments that I was doing. Some of them didn't make it, so I chopped them up and put them in there. On top, I have got a chopped up paper napkin and some tea bags. If I were a coffee drinker, I'd also put my coffee grounds in there. If I've eaten a banana peel recently, that could go in there. Pretty much just any kind of fruit or veggie I put in my compost. Then I take it outside and I'll show you where it goes. So the great thing about composting is you don't need a lot of room to do it. This is just a small, probably square foot by square foot footprint for my EnviroCycle compost tumbler here that I got on Amazon. I just unhook the lid. See my compost that was all originally kind of similar to the stuff I just showed you, and now it looks pretty close to like dirt. So putting in my compostables that I showed you earlier, and then I just close the lid and give it a few spins. This part's actually kind of fun. From time to time, I might put in what is called brown material in composting. I might add in some potting soil or dirt or leaves or pine straw. There's a long list of brown material that qualifies, a lot that you can find outside or in your backyard, to kind of mix in here to help it become more like dirt. But it's really low maintenance. You're supposed to spin this thing every couple days. I probably do it more like every week or couple weeks. And slowly but surely, it actually does turn into a rich soil amendment called compost. And the smell is also very minimal. It really just smells nice and earthy, like dirt. One recommendation for kind of a smaller footprint composting like this is to chop up your fruits and veggies and compostables into probably like 2-inch by 2-inch pieces. You wouldn't want to throw a whole banana peel in here. I mean, eventually it'd break down, but it just speeds up the process to go ahead and chop it up. So it's so easy. Tumblers like this are available online and in stores at all price points, but I've been really happy with this one. Happy composting!